glorious, glorious day to be an LSU Tiger, as it is official. Last night, we went live around 11:30 p.m. Central Standard Time saying, hey, man, this looks like it's done. And today, as we sit here at 3:40 p.m. Central Standard Time, it is official. The 35th head coach of LSU football will be Lane Kiffin. It is a glorious, glorious day in Baton Rouge. Don't let the weather outside fool you. Just because it's raining, just because it's sprinkling, don't let it fool you. It is a glorious day in Louisiana. It's a glorious day in Baton Rouge. As Lane Kiffin announced earlier today after a team meeting that got pushed back because, of course, Ole Miss is just Ole Miss. They think that they're doing everything right. Well, the biggest superstar just walked out the door on you. Charlie Weiss Jr. just walked out the door on you. Oh, we're keeping him. We're keeping him. Well, he got on the plane with Lane Kiffin. So I don't think you are. And you sit here about to go in the playoff, best season, and the guy walked out and said, hey, man, LSU is a bigger program than you are. They can provide me the one thing you can't, national title. And listen, today I'm going to go stupid on some of these people in the media. I am going to go HE doubles hockey sticks. I am going to raise all kinds of hell on these idiots in the media because all they are idiots. They don't want to see logic. They're out there trolling for clips like this guy, SEC Mike, does a good job. Thinks he needs, I'm going to leave it alone on what I want to say. He's a troll. I ask him to civilly come and debate it then. You want to talk that shit? Come talk the shit. But the villain arc that seems to be looming around Baton Rouge, I'm all here for it. Louisiana versus everybody. Louisiana versus everybody. Don't matter. We came to your trap and took over your trap. We came to your city and took the biggest thing, economic-wise, football-wise, because we could, and we did. And there was nothing you could do about it. There are levels to this game. There just is. All right. We got lots that we need to talk about. So Lane Kiffin being announced. We'll talk about that more in detail, which we've been talking about for the last month. Staff retention. Who will be moving on? I know that there's been a lot of talk about Austin Thomas. We'll get into that as well. There is video footage emerging that Charlie Weiss Jr., the offensive coordinator, which is a big deal, got on the plane with Lane Kiffin along with others. We'll talk about that. LSU does have a new strength and conditioning coordinator. We will talk about that as well. I think it's the second biggest hire that you can make. Nick Savage, the strength and conditioning coordinator, is going to be heading to LSU. We'll talk about that as well. And then we'll get to your thoughts, questions, and concerns. You already know what it is. You know how to get involved into the show. Two things you can do. Send in super chats on YouTube or become a member, and we will get to it. But before we get rolling, everyone do us a favor by hitting the like and share. Share to all those groups if you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Wherever you listen to podcasts, do us a favor, rate, review, and subscribe. Every AYS Sports Show is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. Download the FD Sportsbook app. How many games is LSU going to win next year with Lane Kiffin? How many games do you think that they're going to win? I'm sure FanDuel will have those bets up for you sooner rather than later. Do you want to bet the NFL? Do you want to bet college football playoff? Do you want to fade on Ole Miss now that Lane Kiffin has left? You can do that with our good friends over at FanDuel. We are proudly partnered and proudly powered, the triple Ps, by our good friends over at FanDuel. So go down the FD Sportsbook app today. And my favorite feature on the app is that you can go to FanDuel.com/RG for more details. You can set your preferences. You don't want to spend over like $100 a month. Go and do it. It's a big deal on why we partner with our good friends over at FanDuel. We strongly encourage for you to bet responsibly, and that is why we are partnered with them, because they encourage that as well. All right. I already see a couple of people coming in. Tyreek, who's been a member on the YouTube channel for a month, says Lane State University. Train coming through, baby. Train coming through. Probably would be a great time to become a member on the YouTube channel, as coaching and staff is going to be rampant. It's going to be running. We will be here for all of it. We will be here for all of it. So we're really excited for that, but it's a really good time to probably become a member. Harrison also became a member on the YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate that, along with Richie Evans. Good to see you, Richie. Aaron as well became a member, along with LSU Man and KBT. All became members on the YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate y'all joining us here today. As my chair keeps sinking. Here's what we know at the current moment. I don't know the specific time. I've been told 11 or noon that the press conference will go down for Lane Kiffin, and he'll be introduced as LSU's next head coach. We will be there for it. I will be there for it. So I'm really looking forward to that. When those times start coming out, we will get them to you. So let's get into it here. We got lots and lots to discuss. Lots and lots to discuss. So today, Lane Kiffin, now new head coach of LSU. Lane Kiffin came out with a statement in regards to what, guys, basically has been going on for the last 3 weeks. But Lane Kiffin, after a team meeting with his players in Ole Miss, came out with a statement today in saying, after a lot of prayer time spent with family, I made the difficult decision to accept the head coaching position at LSU. I was hoping to complete a historic 6th season run with this year's team by leading Ole Miss through the playoffs, capitalizing on the team's incredible success and their commitment to finish strong and investing in everything into a playoff run with guardrails in place to protect the program in any areas of concern. Remember that last sentence. We're going to get to that last sentence, but remember that last sentence. Lane also says, my request to do so was denied by AD Keith Carter of Ole Miss, despite the team also asking him to allow me to keep coaching them so they could better maintain their high level of performance. Unfortunately, that means Friday's Egg Bowl was my last game coaching the Rebels. While I am looking forward to starting with a new, unique opportunity at LSU, I will forever cherish the incredible 6 years that I spent at Ole Miss and will be rooting hard for the team to complete their mission and bring a championship to LSU. So a couple of things here. As things have started to shake out, let's play into what has happened into right now. Number one, obviously we know that a meeting took place last night between the chancellor, the athletic director, and Lane Kiffin. All the speculations that we had heard were true. Lane Kiffin wanted to coach this football team into the playoff. He wanted to coach this team, and he did not want to leave them. I'm sure he wanted his cake and eat it too. Ole Miss would not allow him, and they said move on. Now, there's an issue that I have with that. The issue that I have with it is, look at what is happening around college football. You have John Summerall taking a job at Florida, leaving Tulane, but Tulane is allowing him to coach. You have North Texas, who could also be in the playoff here, is leaving for Oklahoma State. They're allowing him, if he were so to make the playoff, Oklahoma State is allowing him to do that as well. It only seemed to be an issue when it came to LSU and Ole Miss. Now, I understand, and I put this out earlier, I understand that there was a big to-do with my post on Twitter today about saying, what's the difference between John Summerall? And all of you fell for the casual bait, right? All of you that disagreed fell for the overall thing that I knew that you would fall for. Because everybody's been coming out talking about, oh my God, Lane Kiffin's abandoning his team. He's abandoning his team. Guys, it's the one thing that he didn't want to do. See, adults couldn't prevail here. Now, if what Lane Kiffin is saying is true and that players wanted him to coach, well, then Keith Carter wouldn't allow him. And I believe that Lane is telling the truth. even though Ole Miss people will say that that's not true, because of course they won't. But the calendar here is what really screwed Lane Kiffin, because he wants to take the opportunity, a better opportunity, an opportunity at a top 3 job in the country, but he also wants to finish with his team. And the problem that I have with all of these, what I think to be really bad takes, what is the difference between John Summerall looking his team in the face and saying, guys, I love you, but I'm leaving, but I'm going to coach you? What's the difference? Well, Blake, what about Lane's track record? Do you know anything about John Summerall's track record? Now, his track record is pretty flawless, and I will give you that. But does the players at Ole Miss matter more than the players at Ole Miss? Well, Blake, it's a big difference between Tulane and Florida. Really? Because Tulane's had more winning seasons the last decade than Florida has. Now, I do think Florida is a better program. But these coaches are also leaving playoff teams. And you fell for the casual takeoff. Why aren't you getting on John Summerall? Well, Blake, it's because it's Tulane. I get it. I understand that it's Tulane. He's also leaving his team. He's also leaving them. Lane did not want to leave this team. So to all the casuals and Rudy Poos that are out there, he did not want this. Lane is put and has been put in an impossible situation. That impossible situation is, guys, he wants to finish what he started. He wants to win a national title. He also wants to go to LSU. And it's not Lane Kiffin's fault that the NCAA is so incompetent to not change situations, not to make a better calendar. Guys, the truth of the matter is, signing day should be in February. The portal period should be in the spring. It should never go on during the season. Why anyone, coaches included, would allow that is idiotic. It's idiotic. It is dumb. The NFL scheduling model works. Your scheduling model before all of this craziness happened worked. They're going to have to change the model of scheduling. So if a kid wants to early enroll from the high school ranks, let him early enroll. You already make him have an exemption to early enroll. What's the difference now? But everyone trying to paint Lane Kiffin as the villain when the schedule and the NCAA should be the villain, guys, there's no way. There's a 0% chance that any of you and everyone in that post would have not taken a better job, just like what Lane did. All of you would have taken that opportunity. I would have taken that opportunity. You would have taken that opportunity. Everyone would have taken that opportunity. That's not something that he should be frowned upon in doing. If I came to you right now and I offered you a better situation than the current job that you're in, you would take it. Don't be an idiot. It's easy for you to rest on your morals, quote unquote, when you're not having a massive amount of money thrown in your face with, by the way, which Ole Miss said that they matched, they didn't match. You point in a situation where you could go to a better situation to get you where you ultimately want to go. Nick Saban is the greatest coach of all time. And he told you why Lane should take it on College Game Day on Saturday. He told you why the reason Lane Kiffin should take it. He's not lying, guys. He's not lying. So to all the casual takes out there, I will not back you on this. I massively disagree with you on this. The truth of the matter is, I think Lane Kiffin should go out there and talk his shit. So you mean to tell me that I can't leave for a better job just because the team that and staff that I orchestrated and built to this point, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. What do you want him to do? I've heard none of you come up with a comprehensive thought that would change this other than changing the calendar. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Lane is put in a very, very difficult situation that he shouldn't be in. But we have, guys, we hired a politician as the president of the NCAA, a lifelong politician. With all due respect to Governor Landry, that would be like appointing Governor Landry to the NCAA president. Guys, he thought the BCS system was still here. He thought the BCS was still a thing. You see what I'm saying? Doesn't make any sense. Another thing I want to get to before we move on here. There's a statement in here from Lane Kiffin. He says, my request to do so was denied by Keith Carter, meaning he wanted to coach the playoff. They told him he couldn't, was denied by Keith Carter, despite the team also asking him and allowing him to coach. He also talks about in his announcement that there were guardrails in place to protect the program in any areas of concern. So you talked about it. Lane was giving you what you wanted. Look, I get it. What I wanted, you got to have your own guardrails. I get it. But I want to coach the team, and they denied it. Now, what little woe is me, Ole Miss. I know for a fact that you were talking to John Summerall last week. Last Wednesday, you were talking to John Summerall. Sourcing and planes and all of that might lie. My eyes don't. You know, and I know that you went to New Orleans last week to talk to John Summerall. Don't get mad that you missed. They missed. John Summerall went to Florida. That was the guy you wanted to go after. You missed. Auburn also missed, by the way. So good on Florida. But you missed. Don't act like you didn't know that this was coming, only to promote from within and Pete Golding, which I love. I love Pete Golding. I think Pete's going to do a really good job there. I think Pete is fantastic. I do. And we'll get to that a little bit later. We'll get to that a little bit later. But look, man, that is the timeline. Last night they met. They came to a decision, said, hey, man, you can't coach here. And Lane took the job. And shit got toxic. I don't blame Lane Kiffin at all. And let me tell you this. Just because it's LSU, I don't blame him either. I've been saying this well before he took the job at LSU. If he would have taken the job at Florida, I would have said the same thing. So this isn't anything new from me. You can't blame a man for going somewhere better. And just some former players out there that are saying, who have been saying that Lane Kiffin's never coming. Spare me that you think that you know. Spare me. All right. So now that we kind of got that little rant out of the way. Oh, speaking of rants, last one before we get into a lot of positivity here. Guys, the media bashing on Lane Kiffin. Like I see this guy, SEC Mike. I know who he is. He's going to act like he doesn't know who I am. DMs never lie. But I would just say this. Brother, you don't know. The reason guys from the national media perspective, like Dan Woken, and I call him that, whatever his name is, SEC Mike, is because nobody here really gives a shit about what your content is producing. You're constantly talking shit on a team in a place. Why would we back you? You would never talk to Lane to his face the way that you're talking on social media. Look at Ben Garrett. You would never do it. I think that there needs to be a little bit of, I don't want to say sympathy. There needs to be some understanding here. But there's not. All right. So let's get into it here. Lane Kiffin is going to be announced, or has announced, as the 35th head coach of LSU. 6 years at Ole Miss, the past 6 years And in those 6 years, he was 55-19 at Ole Miss, 32-17 inside the conference. Look, four of the last 5 years, he's got 10 wins. In 2021, they went 10-3 in the Sugar Bowl. 2023, they went 11-2 and won the Peach Bowl over Penn State. In 2024, last year, they went 10-3 and went to the Gator Bowl. And this year, they're 11-1 and probably going to find themselves in the college football playoff. I don't think those players should be hit or dinged based off of all of this going down. They should make the playoffs, right, wrong, or indifferent. So, look, it's a massive deal. Lane Kiffin coming to LSU, as we talked a lot about last night, guys, it's the biggest move in college football. All eyes are on you now. You made the biggest move in all of the sport. Quite honestly, guys, you probably made the biggest move in all of football right now. Guys, Lane Kiffin is one of the biggest names in all of football because of his dad, because of coaching the Raiders, and just who he is. You got, on a Sunday, national NFL reporters reporting on Lane Kiffin heading to LSU. What you're getting yourself into is, guys, you thought all eyes were on you when Brian Kelly was here. You have no idea what's coming for you now. You are front page headline news every single day. Now, LSU always is. And LSU is always front page headline news, as we all well know. Guys, it takes a tick up now because you made the biggest move in the sport and probably all of football this weekend. And I'm sure that there will be other massive moves, but this is the biggest thing to happen in college football probably all season. Arguably speaking, you fired a $53 million head coach, you fired the AD, and you go and take a rival who's leading the team into the playoff, and you basically dropped your nuts and said, we're a better overall program because you are. But now all eyes will be on you for this entire tenure because of who Lane is, who you are. And people are expecting national titles. They're expecting SEC titles. But the truth of the matter is that it's playoffs or bust moving forward. Now, year one, I think Lane's got to rebuild here. I think that we got to be patient. I would be patient with him for 2 years, to be blunt with you. Because now that Lane Kiffin is your head coach, we need to look at where we are at the current moment. Do I think that they could compete early? Yes. Do I think they got to do a lot of things in the portal? Yes. But, guys, this is going to take a little bit of a rebuild. You got a lot that you have to replace here. You're going to have to be patient, a lot like what Ole Miss went through early on. Now, you can be in a much better situation than Ole Miss because of how you're recruiting from within. It is great to see Lamar Brown, the number one overall player in the country, along with Richard Anderson, the number one defensive tackle in the country, saying that they have shut their commitments down now that Lane Kiffin is the head coach. That is massive. Ole Miss just cannot recruit from the high school ranks like that. This could be a quote-unquote slow build, and I think it needs to be. You got to rebuild your foundation. Your foundation is a little cracked. Now, if you keep some of the staff, maybe that foundation is already laid for you and you can just build from within. We'll talk about that in a moment. But you're going to have to be patient with this. Like, guys, I got to be blunt with you. The first 2 years, And you see like Kurt Cignetti at Indiana, I get it. But what Lane Kiffin's going to try to accomplish here is going to take some time. Look, we have no idea who the starting quarterback is going to be next year. We don't even know who the starting offensive line is going to be next year. There's a lot that's got to be rebuilt here. Could you make a run? Could you make a playoff next year? And Lane say, back here again, and now I actually get to coach it. Yeah, I could see that. I 1,000% could see that. But I think that right now, mentality going into the season is you got to be patient. Let this new staff start building. Lane Kiffin is the best offensive mind in the country from a college football perspective. It would appear that he is bringing Charlie Weiss Jr. along with him. We'll get to that more in a second. But, guys, you hired the best offensive mind in the sport. Lane, without a doubt, is by far the best offensive mind in the sport. Name another. Name another. I don't think that there is another. I think there's a lot of really good coaches. I really think that Colin Klein's a really good play caller. I think there's a lot of really good play callers just around the sport in general. No better offensive mind in the game than Lane Kiffin. You know, when this whole process started, all right, we got some news here. Hold on, sidebar. The plane will be landing at 4:50 ETA. So Lane Kiffin will be landing in Baton Rouge around 4:50. All right, good to know. It's going to be interesting to see who gets off that plane. You're going to have to bear with us, too, as we're getting all this being fed into us during the show. Lane Kiffin put out another statement. Brandon, is that what you sent me? Okay. Lane Kiffin just put out another statement. Says, I'm incredibly honored to have the opportunity to lead the storied LSU football program. Kiffin said, from national championships to iconic players, LSU is synonymous in its excellence and is among the most powerful brands in all of sports. I am grateful to President Roos, Verge Alsbury, and the LSU leadership for placing their faith in me to lead this program. Our staff will recruit the very best student athletes in the country, starting at home in the state of Louisiana, and will work tirelessly every day to bring championships that the LSU fans deserve. Go Tigers. I actually got a coach that says go Tigers. How about that? How about that? But nevertheless, let's get back to it. Hiring the best offensive mind in the sport. When this whole thing started off, for me, I purposefully wanted an offensive-minded guy. I think that's where the college football is going. I think it's where we see things like Ryan Day, Harbaugh. Unless you got like a Kirby Smart level defensive mind, you needed to go get a former play caller that has an identity on one side of the ball. Because overnight, you are changing who you are as a complete program, especially on offense. You probably don't have to worry about what you do at quarterback because Lane's never really had a bad quarterback situation wherever he's been, whether it be at Bama, whether it be at Ole Miss, FAU. I mean, the only real bad quarterback situation he ever really had was because Jamarcus Russell didn't work. That would be the biggest, the only one that he floundered on, but that wasn't really on him. That wasn't really on him. You look at this situation and say, for me, I always wanted an offensive-minded guy, but a non-negotiable for me always was that you needed to have a guy that could call plays when all else fails. Guys, I have been calling for Brian Kelly as an example to be more involved. He didn't want to do it. He was too lazy in doing it. He simply did not want to get involved because he knew how bad it was offensively. You're never going to have that problem. Guys, now from LSU's perspective, you're an up-tempo and at times ground and pound offense. The biggest, how do I want to say this? The biggest lie about Lane Kiffin on the field is that they're a pass-happy offense. Guys, they're not. When you go and look at Lane Kiffin, everything that they do is based off of the run game. You know, last year they had their best roster. Why didn't they make a playoff? Well, guys, they were really bad along their offensive line, and they just simply could not run the ball. Guys, it might be from a spread attack, but you're going to run that rock. And the thing that LSU lacked outside of 2022 under Brian Kelly was you couldn't run the ball. You quite simply just could not run the ball. And you're changing that overnight. That is going to be a staple of what Lane Kiffin does and produces. And that is the LSU standard. That is the LSU way. LSU's not ever been known or should ever be known for being a soft program. And that's the biggest thing that I'm excited about. I'm excited for all the theatrics, good and bad, because it just means like, hey, man, it's never going to be a dull moment. But the number one thing that I am the happiest about is that you're just going to be able to line up and run the football and bust somebody in the mouth. That's what I'm the happiest about, because you've gotten away from that. You've gone from Joe Sloan and Brian Kelly to Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. There's no bigger upgrade than that. And I like BK. I really do. Some of you don't like him, and I get it, but that is as big of an upgrade as you ever could have gotten. Ever. He's the best offensive mind in the sport. And what also intrigues me and makes me so excited, not only the run game and what you can do there. Guys, look at the talent at wide receiver that Louisiana produces, and historically what LSU does at wide receiver with Odell Beckham Jr., with Jarvis Landry, with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, with Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr. And now you're putting Lane Kiffin with that. Sign me up. You know, when everybody wants to talk about Lane Kiffin right now, oh, he shouldn't have left. He shouldn't have done this. He shouldn't have done that. Oh, Lane Kiffin's the villain. Oh, Lane Kiffin this, Lane Kiffin that. He shouldn't have left his team. Well, I look at it as, man, the most intriguing thing for me is the physicality in the run game that he is going to demand from this team, the quarterback play, but knowing what this state produces at wide receiver, what they constantly produce at wide receiver, and what you could do with it. Lane's got to flip a couple of guys that Brian Kelly and Cortez lost out on. He does. Could you imagine Lane Kiffin with Jaden Daniels in that offense in 2023? Could you imagine him with the weapons that this state produces? Guys, it is a match made in heaven. You know, I heard our good friend Jake Crane over at Crane & Company talk about this. He's like, it's like LSU getting the final Infinity Stone. It is. That is what gives me massive amounts of hope. Well, Blake, Lane Kiffin hadn't won anything. Guys, he's won multiple technically, he won 2 national titles as a play caller at USC. He won national titles at Alabama. What? He was a big part of getting Tua Tagovailoa to Alabama. He was a big part in helping and molding what they were and bringing Nick Saban into the 21st century. He knows what it takes to win a national title. Spare me with that. Look how long it did take. Let me back off of that one. But he's going to be able to do some massive things here. All right. Let's get to some staff stuff, and we'll get to your thoughts, questions, and concerns here. We will be live on Rufino and Joe at 5:30, excuse me. So, all right, let's move on to some staff stuff. I am pumped. I am absolutely thrilled. Absolutely freaking thrilled. Let's get to some staff stuff. So the big debate today had been, is Charlie Weiss Jr., the offensive coordinator at Ole Miss, going to be following Lane Kiffin? Videos have surfaced that Charlie Weiss Jr., who's a Broyles Award finalist, was going to actually leave with him. So earlier today, it got reported that Ole Miss, in retaining Pete Golding as now their permanent head coach, they were doing a lot of massive things to try to keep their offensive staff. Video leaked, and Charlie Weiss Jr. got on the plane with Lane Kiffin. So at the current moment, it would appear that not only Lane Kiffin coming, but his offensive play caller is coming with him. That is a massive deal. Charlie Weiss Jr. is one of the brightest minds and one of the brightest young coaches in all the sport. You know, when I think of Charlie Weiss Jr. and what you have coming with you, or what is coming with you, I think of like defensive coordinators for Kirby Smart. You know, I think of offensive coordinators or offensive minds around what used to happen with the Packers in the 90s. You have big-time head coaches that are play callers that are allowing other people to run their offenses and or defenses. Charlie Weiss Jr.'s name is obviously a massive one, a lot like Lane Kiffin in the sense of that their dads were big-time coaches in the sport. But Lane has given him a lot of autonomy to call his offense, and he's a big part of it, right? Like Lane is a massive part of his own offense, but he lets Charlie Weiss Jr. run the show, and he should. And Lane manages more while still being massively involved. This year at Ole Miss, Ole Miss is second in the country in total offense. Sign me up. They have constantly done it. Charlie Weiss Jr. has been a dog at Ole Miss, and he will be a dog here with the weapons and the dudes that you will produce here. I think Tre'Davious Green is the biggest benefactor in all of this, by the way. I do. He needs to catch the football, and he needs to work on that, but he's the biggest benefactor in all of that. Guys, this season, they were one of the best offenses in the country in scoring. They're 12th in the country in scoring, averaging 37 points. 2 years ago, they were damn near in the 40s as well. They've averaged over 35 points 4 of the last 5 seasons. But the number 2 offense in the country, with both of those minds coming together, it would appear that Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. are coming together. Some other staff moves. So it was reported by Matt Zenitz of 247 Sports. There are some other people that will be coming with Lane Kiffin. Some of the other people that will be coming with Lane Kiffin are wide receivers coach George McDonald, which we'll get to in just a moment. Senior associate AD for football operations, Thaddeus Rivers. Head strength and conditioning coach, Nick Savage. And general manager, Billy Glasscock. So the biggest piece in all of this outside of Lane Kiffin from an on-field coaching perspective was Charlie Weiss Jr. You got him. I think it's a massive deal. So you're sweetening the pot on the massive play calling from the offensive side of things. Last night and through this month-long process, I specifically stated that I thought it was of my opinion that the biggest hire that Lane Kiffin could make if he came to LSU was the strength and conditioning position. Nick Savage, who has been with Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, is leaving Ole Miss and following him to Baton Rouge. Because Jake Flint just wasn't cutting it. And any strength and conditioning coach with the last name Savage, excuse me, sign me up. Nick Savage, for what it's worth, let's roll through some of the accolades that he has. I love this. I love that he's bringing his strength and conditioning coordinator. I really do. Because, look, your strength and conditioning coach is easily the biggest person, not the head coach, that you could have. Because he's with the team 24/7. He is really and truthfully the second head coach. He is. But Nick Savage, they've already deleted it. Brandon, they deleted it? Nick Savage? So Ole Miss has deleted Nick Savage's they have deleted his bio. I knew we should have wrote it all down. All right, we got some backup plans though. But Nick Savage has been at multiple places. He's been the head strength and conditioning coordinator at Ole Miss. He's been there since 2022 at Lane Kiffin. That 2022 year was a rebuilding year for them too. But he's been the strength and conditioning coordinator for a team that over the last 3 seasons has over 30-plus wins at Ole Miss with not the level of talent that you do. He's also been the head strength and conditioning coordinator at at Florida, and as long as Mississippi State, and has been a grad assistant and player personnel person at Ohio State and Toledo, where he grew up in his coaching career. I think it's a big deal. I love this Nick Savage move. I had a guy who is in player personnel who was on the Florida staff with him in 2017 and said that Nick Savage is one of the best strength and conditioning coordinators in the entire country, and that when Ole Miss got him in 2022, that it was a flat-out steal. Look, man, you gotta revamp the mold of who you are. Jake Flint just never got it done. I always kind of thought that, and we've talked about this a lot, I think that it was a lazy hire by Brian Kelly. I thought it was a dumb hire by Brian Kelly, and I think Jake Flint should have been out years ago. He never had this team, man. He never once had this team. So, it is what it is there. I love the hire. George McDonald, don't know a lot about him. I'm sure we'll figure it out throughout the days and weeks to come. But George McDonald, welcome to Louisiana and welcome to LSU. You're probably one of the biggest assistant coaches in the country now because of what this place has produced at wide receiver. I trust Lane Kiffin when it comes to bringing people. I trust Lane Kiffin when it comes to the overall aspect of who he trusts offensively. If Lane Kiffin trusts George McDonald, so do I. Don't know enough about him. I think if Lane trusts him, I'm going to trust him. Don't know enough about him. I'm going to really dig into that one. The biggest one here is general manager Billy Glasscock. So this has been a big hot button question for quite some time here on what was going to happen with Austin Thomas. I don't know what's happening with Austin. I've heard he's leaving and potentially going back to Ole Miss. I've heard that he is staying. Guys, right now I lean to him leaving with Billy Glasscock, coming with Lane Kiffin. Austin did what Lane Kiffin essentially also did, but I think to a guy like Lane, loyalty is a big deal. I do not know what the future holds for Austin Thomas. I've heard a lot of places that he won't be here, and that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. I think Austin's done a really good job. However, I'm not going to tell a man who his GM should be. I'm just not going to do it. Austin's been great to me. He's been great to a lot of us. I hate it for him. I hope that they find a way to let bygones be bygones and he stays and helps Billy raise funds. It would be what I would hope. But it doesn't appear that that's what's going to happen. I don't know what will happen, though. I have no clue. I hope that they could smoke the peace pipe and Austin would stay. Neil McCready is reporting on the Ole Miss side that he thinks that Austin Thomas could come back to Ole Miss, and I don't like that. I hate it for Austin. He's done a really good job. I do think Austin missed massively in a lot of areas on offense. He missed along the offensive line. He missed at receiver, and quite honestly, he shouldn't have given the contract to Garrett that he gave, and he was warned about it. And that's what's going to get you moved on from. Lane is a lot of things. If you're not loyal to him, then he's probably not going to be loyal back. Look, Ole Miss promoted Pete Golding. We'll have a lot of time to talk about that in the future. Look, I know Pete. I like Pete a lot. I've known him for a long time. I am happy for him that he is getting the head coaching job. It's going to be an interesting situation for him. It's going to be a very, very interesting situation for him. I hate it, man. I hate it for him, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I love it for him, but he's got an uphill battle to climb. He's got to replace a GM, a strength and conditioning, and your first time being a head coach is going to be in the playoffs, and good luck to him. I like Pete a lot. Pete's going to do a great job. Pete's going to recruit his ass off. Pete is going to recruit his ass off. He's going to do a really good job doing it. He's going to have a really good job doing it. All right, last but not least, let's talk about some of your current staff and where I think things stand. Outside of Frank Wilson, your entire offensive staff is gone, in my opinion. They should be gone. They do not deserve to be here. Cortez Hankton will be fired in the next couple of days, if not by the end of the day. I don't know what's going to happen with Frank Wilson. I don't know. I have heard in this entire process that Frank and Lane have been discussing throughout this process, and I don't know if Lane will move on for him. I think offensively, he is the only one that potentially will be retained and should be retained. But I think that, Lane knows Frank. They go back a very, very long way, and it's going to be interesting to see if Lane retains him. I do think everybody else is going to get clipped. They need to. The third probably biggest thing here in reference to hiring is probably your offensive line coach. You're horrible there. You got a massive rebuild in that building, but you have a lot of talent. You have a lot of talent in that room. It's not that the cup is bare like it was when Brad Davis took it over. You have a lot of talent in that room. But that's going to be a massive hire, whoever you bring in. You're going to have to nail that position. Let's move over to defense. I'm sure that's what y'all probably really want to know about the most. Blake Baker. This is what I know. This is sourcing. There's going to be considerations by Lane Kiffin and others on retaining Blake Baker if he does not seek a job elsewhere. That Tulane job is open. I do not know if Blake would take that job if offered. That's where he went to school. It's where he I'm sure Tulane has a big part to do in his heart. But I've been told by multiple sources that Blake Baker, there will be consideration for him to stay as LSU's defensive coordinator. If you're asking me my opinion, I think he should stay, which also would make Kevin Peoples stay. Blake has led a top 25 defense in the country this year. You went from 108th in the country in total defense to a top 25 unit in 2 years. I think Blake's shown his worth, and Blake Baker needs to be retained. Again, am I going to be mad or upset if Lane Kiffin does not keep him? No. But I think it would be wise for him to keep Blake Baker. He's one of the best DCs in the country. If you don't keep him, he's going to go somewhere else as a DC and dominate because somebody's going to give him the right personnel who's going to do a really good job. You're a top 25 unit in the country, man. You're top 16 in the country in scoring. Do I think that things need to be better cleaned up defensively? Sure. Was it perfect? No. But you have a good core nucleus defensively that if you keep him, that things can continue to be you could be very good on defense. I think that Lane would be wise to do something that Brian Kelly didn't and keep some of these guys that are there. I think Blake Baker is one of them. Again, I have been told that there will be a consideration on Lane Kiffin keeping him. There will be discussions. I do not know what ultimately is going to come of those conversations. If you're asking me what I think should happen, I think Blake Baker should stay. What I do know from people that I've talked to around LSU is that, well, I'll say this. I think Blake Baker wants to stay. That's number one. But number two, I think that those conversations are going to happen as soon as tonight. And I think that they'll make a decision within the next 24 to 48 hours of where this thing plays out. I would lean right now that they would retain him, but I have no idea what Lane Kiffin's going to do. Nor am I going to act like it. And this thing is so fresh. We're ripping off the Band-Aid here. I just don't know. I just do not know. So I hope he stays. Corey Raymond. I hope Corey Raymond stays. I think that you have a really good core nucleus of players in that room that I don't think that you need to get rid of because it's your best room right now. You know, I was tough on Corey when he first came back. And with that being said, I think he's done a phenomenal job. I think Corey needs to be retained. DJ Pickett, PJ Woodland, you're bringing in Haven Finney. You have a really good core nucleus at the corner position. You also have a really good safety in Deshaun Spears, who we saw have a really big game. You got to replenish that room a little bit at safety, but we'll see. I would assume that Chris Kiffin, Lane Kiffin's brother, is also coming with him, clearly. I don't know where that goes. Does he coach safeties? Would he coach linebackers? Would you move Blake Baker back to safeties? Guys, all of that, I just don't know. I have no clue. But I think Jake Olson, unfortunately, is going to get the hammer, even after a really good season. And that's unfortunate for him. But one of them is going to have to go back to safety because Chris Kiffin is coming. I don't know what you're doing along the defensive line. I have no clue. But I do feel like if you keep Blake Baker, you're potentially going to keep Kevin Peoples. Do you hire an interior defensive line coach? All of that right now, I don't know. But I think at minimum, it should be Blake Baker, Chris Kiffin, and Corey Raymond that gets retained if Kevin Peoples is not also retained. And you could have a lot of staff here. Maybe you keep Frank. So as we kind of like move into this offensively, Charlie Weiss, your OC and quarterbacks coach, you need an offensive line coach, but Frank might be retained as your running backs coach. George McDonald might be your wide receivers coach. I don't know what they're doing at tight ends coach. I don't know what they're doing along the O-line. So you got to make some hires there. Defensively, I don't know really what you're doing at all other than Chris Kiffin, other than Blake Baker is going to have conversations with Lane Kiffin moving forward, and we'll see how they go. So that is where we stand. Lane Kiffin is your new head coach. I am fired up about where you are offensively. I am fired up about you actually being able to run the ball. The dynamics of how Kiffin and Weiss call plays is a massive deal with the talent that you can bring in here and that you have and that I think you currently have on the staff. I think the Lane Kiffin news is going to retain a lot of players and potentially them not hitting the portal unless they're just not going to play. So you have a chance here, man. This could be really good really quickly. I think you need to let them build, but I'm fired up for that. Defensively, I just don't think that we have a clue right now. I don't. So we'll see. All right. That's what we know as of now. Lane Kiffin is a 4:50 ETA time. All right. We'll see. Let's get to these super chats. Brandon, let me know when it's 5:25. No depression with a $2 super chat sends, if we bring back bring back Mickey Joseph. Well, I don't think you're bringing back Mickey Joseph, right? Because George McDonald's coming as your wide receivers coach. I trust Lane on what he wants at wide receiver. And quite honestly, George McDonald's done an amazing job there. An absolutely amazing job over the last couple of years. I mean, look at their wide receiver room now. Look at their wide receiver room now. I mean, it's really good, man. Keep an eye out. Brandon, is it official? All right, I'm going to change my thought, even though I just got done with it. I think Frank Wilson's going to be retained. Here's what I was told this morning. Frank Wilson has not stopped recruiting this morning. And I think that at least until signing day is over, Frank Wilson will be here. I would expect him to stay as of now. We'll see what goes on in the future, but they're potentially going to flip some kids. Here's another thing in recruiting. We didn't even talk about recruiting. They're going to flip some kids. So I know recruiting's not a big thing here, but right now Frank's going to be retained. We'll see what happens moving forward. All right, Royal says, Florida fans, the deal is done. Yeah, the deal is done. Lane Kiffin's our next head coach. Boy, they were so positive that they were getting him. So positive that they were getting him. And they didn't. Big-ass goofballs. Get good with a $2 super chat says, I can't wait to request away tickets in Oxford. Boy, that shit's going to be toxic. That shit's going to be toxic. We got to go back to Oxford next year. I'm really interested. That is good. That is going to feed families. That game, that whole week will feed families. And look, man, Lane Kiffin's a troll. Pissed off Lane Kiffin is a good Lane Kiffin. Ask Tennessee. But yeah, that's going to be toxic. Guys, here's another thing. The Ole Miss LSU rivalry was a big one already. It's just gotten 3 times bigger, if not more, 10 times bigger. It's about to be toxic. Aaron became a member on the YouTube channel along with LSU Man and KBT, or KB Tiger became members on YouTube. Yeah, we're probably our YouTube channel. We're probably going to have some members only content coming out tomorrow as we continue through this process. As we continue through, we'll be talking about some staff stuff here. So thank you all. Thank you for becoming members on the YouTube channel. Ricky Pope with a $10 super chat says, Preacher Blake, the enemy always attacks when it deems it a threat. The SEC is scared. 1,000% they're scared. Look, I ain't trying to be rude to these dudes in the media, but I don't like when you're – look, I can deal with you trolling sometimes. If you're constantly going to troll, I'm going to call your ass out for it. Like this dude, SEC Mike, I would love to have a debate with him. He ain't going to come on here. I mean, he thinks his numbers are, SEC Mike. Brother, I promise you. But the truth of the matter is, man, I'm just not going to sit here for it. It's a big – if you cover the SEC, you got to be impartial and stop talking shit. If you're going to talk shit, people are going to talk shit back to you. And brother, when you unfollow somebody and then screenshot it and then post it back, that's Bush League, man. That's Bush League. But they do everybody deems you as a threat now. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Hell yeah, they deem you as a threat. Jamie Post with a $20 super chat says, it's a good day to be a Tiger. Love the new era. Thank you, Blake. I didn't do anything other than tell you what I was hearing. But it is a great day to be an LSU Tiger, yes. A fantastic day to be an LSU Tiger. That is for sure. Tiger Bait, 24, has been a member on the YouTube channel for a month. He says, Lane Train. It's a big deal, man. Thank you for being a member for a month. But yes, a massive deal. I'm excited that he's here. Landon with a $10 super chat says, Ole Miss fans, he's yours now. Good luck. Or Ole Miss fan, maybe. He's yours now. Good luck. LSU fan. Oh, I see what you're saying. He's yours now. Good luck. LSU fans. Bitch, we ratchet to bring that shit over here to the boot. Hashtag do the ratchet. Oh, yeah. Do the ratchet. They're mad, man. They would have taken him back in a heartbeat. They would have taken him back in a heartbeat. They're mad. I get why they're mad. They shouldn't. I mean, I say they shouldn't be. They should be mad. But he just went to the better place, man. I mean, when it's all said and done, Lane Kiffin went to the school that gives him the best chance to win, ultimately, and cement his legacy. I get it. LSU fans, there's some people that are weary in reference to what could happen in reference to like him doing it to you. Sure, I get it. And I'm sure we would be just as mad. But it's not this. You can't live scared. Can't live scared. Talking Stephen Hawking with a $2 super chat says all aboard the lane train. Yeah, well, he's on our lane plane, excuse me. Yeah, hopefully he instead of a train, he takes us on a plane and we go sky high here. But he's on a plane and he'll be here in 10 minutes. I really hope there's a lot of LSU fans at the airport. I really do. I'm sure there is. I mean, shit. They were there for his family when it was just the potential of him coming. What are they going to do now? Right? What are they going to do now? It's a big deal, man. It's a big deal. JD became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you, JD. I greatly appreciate it, buddy. We'll have some content out tomorrow. Jones the Kid with a $5 super chat says, let's go, baby. I'm feeling like this is the start of a dynasty run, my guy. Keep up the good work. Love this channel. Love you, man. It very well could be. It very, very, very well could be. I don't know if there's a lot of jobs that Lane would leave you for. Does he get an NFL itch? I mean, guys, who knows? Right? Who knows? But it very well could be. You got a lot of work you got to put in. But, guys, this is the top 3 job in the country when it's ran right. It's one of the best jobs in the country when it's ran right. And when you look, guys, when you look at Florida, when you look at Auburn, Ole Miss, Penn State hadn't even hired a coach yet. When you got involved in all this, everybody looked at you as the number one job. They all know it. We all know it. Can Lane Kiffin get you to the promised land? Right now, rebuild, get to the playoff. The playoff is my only goal right now. Get to the playoff. That is the only goal. The only goal. Blake Nagy Robert Law with a $5 super chat says, let's go. The Lane train has departed Ole Miss and arrived at LSU Station. Choo-choo. Says, I'm ecstatic and proud of LSU not backing down. Blake or Robert, whoever it is, I'm right there with you. It's the thing that we talked about most here, even before Lane Kiffin was official. No matter how this would have ever gone down, I was massively proud of Verge Osbury, Wade Roos, Governor Landry, and Scott Ballard. They did what they needed to do, man. They did, and they never blinked. You know, now that we look back on it, when Eli Drinkwitz signed an extension, we should have known. We should have known it was over. And with it being Lane Kiffin, I mean, you never know until you know, right? Like, you never know that it's going to happen until it happens. But now we know, because Eli was going to be one of your top targets. They can say whatever they want. He was your number 2. Thank God it didn't get to that. Thank you, God. I'm not an Eli Drinkwitz fan at all. But it is look, there's going to be a lot of people talking shit. Fuck them. Fuck them. I mean, their opinion we don't care about the opinions of sheep. You want to keep talking your shit, keep talking your shit. But when it comes down to it, you have a sense of pride now when you look at your football team because of what they just did. You know, you missed out on Lincoln Riley. You missed out on Tom Herman. You missed out on whoever in the hell you missed out on. This time you just didn't miss. You missed out on recruits. You missed out on Bryce Underwood. And then you get back to a point where, guys, look at you now. Look at you now. Real question is, Bryce Underwood want to come back? Oh, we don't want him now. Guys, the dude's a freshman. Hawking with a $5 super chat. But yes, I am very proud. I am very, very proud of this team, but this program. Hawking sends a $5 super chat, says Lane is about to thrive on this new villain arc. LSU at Ole Miss next year is going to be so toxic, must-see TV. 1,000% it's going to be must-see TV. Without a doubt, it's going to be must-see TV. But yes, it will be very toxic. This rivalry moving forward will be very toxic. And they're one of your permanent opponents. It's going to be very, very, very toxic. And I love every bit of it. Tiger Bait with a $5 super chat says, let's go next season 9-3. Lane could easily pull the guys from the portal and in-state talent to make it a 10-plus win season. He could. I think they need to rebuild a little bit, right? They got to rebuild a little. We got to be patient with it. Could he do it? 100%. He could do it. Yeah, they could do it. William became a member on the YouTube channel along with Chance and Landon. Gifted 5 people memberships on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Landon. Thank you so much, William. Thank you so much, Chance. That's a big deal. Thank you. Thank you. Landon gave 5 of you. So 5 random people are going to get memberships on the YouTube channel, all because of Landon, because Landon is an amazing human being. Way to go, Landon. Thank you, buddy. Big deal. Thanks, Landon. Yeah, we're climbing. We're about to have over 1,000 members on the YouTube channel. Just members only content. Big deal. $2 super chat from Outdoor says 247 Sports is reporting that Ryan Williams is following Kiffin. That is an incorrect report. That was from 274 Sports. It's a troll job. Ryan Williams is not following Lane Kiffin. Omar the Tiger says LSU is synonymous with excellence and is among the best powerful brands in all of the sport. Lane Kiffin quote why he took the job. Oh, without a doubt. And it's why he's here. Omar, it's why he's here. Listen, I really don't think, if you're asking me my opinion, I don't think Lane leaves Ole Miss for any other job other than yours, Bama's, or Texas. If you want me to be blunt. I don't, guys, I just got to be real with you. Do I think he had conversations with Florida? Yes. Do I think he took them seriously? No. And I think Florida needs to look themselves in the mirror about who they are as a program. They do. But you are synonymous for being a powerful brand. You're one of the biggest brands in all of college football, man. General Grievous with a $2 super chat says everyone from the NFL to college football is bitching. F them. Yeah, who gives a shit? What are they bitching about? It's not Lane Kiffin. You're bitching that he left. Why? Because for a better job? All of them have done it. It's funny. I saw Dan Woken say that, oh my God, I can't believe he's leaving. Brother, you literally did the same thing a year ago. You left for a higher paying job at a bigger branded place. You literally did it. You hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite. That's the thing that bothers me the most. How are you out here being a big ass hypocrite when you literally just did it? Don't come at me with that shit. LSU fan with a $5 super chat says Kiffin is 100% gonna let the band play neck. Well, he's going to have to pay the fines, but yes. He will. I owe the band when he gets off the plane, the band's playing neck. That's the most Lane Kiffin thing of all time. Let the band play neck. Lane's funny, man. He's going to say some funny shit. His interviews are going to be electric. Now, does he have some boring ones? Yes, all coaches have boring press conferences. But when he's on, he's on. He's on. Michael with a $10 super chat says, Blake, what will be your first question to Lane Kiffin? It's a good question to me. I don't know. I really think he should keep Sam Petito. That would be one, the director of scouting. I'm sure this is going to come up quicker. Just off the top of my head, I hadn't thought about it, but we'll be there tomorrow. I'll have my questions lined up. By then, I think if no one asked it before me, are you keeping Blake Baker? Are you keeping Corey Raymond? What are your thoughts there? And I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. Because this has been such a whirlwind, I haven't thought about the questions I'd ask. How about this? Y'all send me super chats. What are some questions y'all want? What do y'all want me to ask Lane Kiffin? What do you want me to ask Lane Kiffin? And we'll try to work it in there. But there's going to be a lot of people there. I might not even get the mic. I'm going to try to. Mr. Terps with a $2 super chat says, so do you think they keep we keep Blake Baker? I don't know. I do not know. Do I think you should? Yes. Do I like that some of the things that I have heard behind the scenes? Yes. I think that consideration, I think they're going to just consider it. And they're going to have those conversations. I don't know what the future holds on conversations that haven't even had yet. But the fact that you're having the conversations a sign in the a good direction. So I think that, yeah, I think they should, and I hope that they do. I hope that they do. Andy with a $5 super chat says, I just hope the fans understand this is going to be a rebuild, so don't rush things. Go Tigers. It will be. And look, man, they might supersede expectations depending on how they do in recruiting and depending on how they do in the portal. I mean, you can fix it in 1 year, but you got to build from within. You got to build from within. You can't keep missing on these high school guys. You can't do it. Jay Smith, along with J.D. Gilliott and Craig Inman, all became members on the YouTube channel. Thank you all so much. We'll have some content out there for you tomorrow. It's definitely going to be later in the day because of the fact, obviously, that we're going to be at the press conference. But we'll try to get some content out there for you tomorrow. Richie Roche with a $50 super chat, massive bomb here, says, first time I've seen LSU successfully drop them on the table and deliver. So refreshing. Verge deserves his flowers and everyone involved. What a great day, man. Coach Lane Kiffin will kill it here. Greatest hire since Saban, equal or better hire, Blake. Well, at the time, I mean, as of right now, considering what Lane Kiffin is, it's a great hire. Bigger than Saban at the time, but there's no bigger hire than hiring Nick Saban because of what Nick Saban ultimately was. And what he became. I fully agree with it being a massive deal in reference to you just dropping your nuts. Because you did, man. You did. All right, every AYS show is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. Go over to the App Store and download the FD Sportsbook app today. We greatly appreciate y'all doing that. Every show is partnered and powered by our good friends over at FanDuel. Need to run through some of these really quickly, so let's run through them. Sourdough with a $10 super chat says, I give Lane 2 years to rebuild. It would be great to make offense great again. He's going to do that. It's one thing I'm not worried about is doing that. Hope the defense will be good enough and improve. The swagger and attitude soon will be back. Exciting times. Very exciting times. Yeah, you got your swagger back. That's for sure. That is for sure. And offensively, I'm not even remotely close to being worried about that. Mitch Como with a $5 super chat says, the first time Lane Kiffin has a clipboard toss in the air, it's gonna hit like crack. No doubt. No doubt. Him fist pumping on the sidelines, getting everybody pumped up, that shit is gonna hit like crack. It is gonna hit like crack. LG Gaming with a $2 super chat says, we need to roll into Ole Miss 30K deep next year. I know. You got to back your head coach. They're probably going to be intolerable. Richie Roche with a $20 super chat says, Lane Kiffin is licking his chops right now with the talent and the upside and the talent here. I hope he coaches the bowl game. He will not coach the bowl game. He is not going to coach the bowl game. It would be unprecedented if he does. I've heard he's not. I highly doubt he's going to coach the bowl game. I mean, could he technically? I guess, but I don't think that he will. I really don't believe that he will. And nor do I think that he should. Nor do I think that he should. Trey with a $2 super chat says, Weiss and Savage getting season tickets soon. Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Aaron with a $2 super chat says, Oxford is coping hard. Here's our hoe. He's our hoe now. Hell yeah, I'll be a hoe for Lane Kiffin. Call me a hoe all you want to. I'm a hoe for Lane Kiffin. Somebody make me a shirt and send it to me. 2X. Hoe for Kiffin. Hoe for Kiffin. Make the shirt. Print it. Chef with a $2 super chat says, James Craig coming back with Lane. Let's see if he gets appointed to the overall offensive line. Let's see if he gets that appointment. That will be weird. Because James Craig sued you and won. That would be a weird situation. I don't hate James Craig. Kiffin Orgeron with a $5 super chat says, at Go Vols, Vols fans talk about out returning to glory like it's a relative who went out for milk in 1998 and never came back. That's true. They can't get over Kiffin, man. It's been over, 20 years, close to it? Fuck, get over it, dude. When was it? 2000? I mean, when did that happen? Get over it. God bless it. Dane Bergeron with a $5 super chat says, I'm going shopping for yoga pants and signing up for hot yoga. Me too, Dane. Me too. You know, with all of this that comes with it, man, I mean, look, I mean, this is a Saban level move. It's a Saban level move. So, yeah. All right, we got some more. We got some breaking news here. Lane Kiffin has added again to his coaching staff. His brother, Chris Kiffin, will be we don't know what he'll be yet, but Chris Kiffin is coming to LSU with his brother, co-offensive coordinator Joe Cox, and tight ends coach. Or he was a tight ends coach for Lane Kiffin will also be coming. He was a co-OC. Inside wide receivers coach Sawyer Jordan will also be coming along with senior defensive player personnel member Mike Williams. Lane is making his staff, man. I mean, shit, he already told them people that he was leaving. Good for them. Terrell became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you, Terrell. Yeah, big time. So you knew his brother was coming. A lot of defensive holdouts, though. But you have your tight ends coach in Joe Cox. He'll be a co-offensive coordinator. Joe Cox, coach tight ends, helped Charlie Weiss and some play calling stuff. I mean, you're just bringing your whole offensive staff. Good for them. Didn't bring your running backs coach or O-line coach. What happens there? I don't know. I don't ultimately know. But some more staff members that have been added here. Reserve sends a $5 super chat, says, just wanted to say thank you for all you do, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you for sending the super chat. It's been a long month. I'm glad my phone will stop ringing. At least I hope it stops ringing. Payne Gates with a $5 super chat says, does this make LSU Ole Miss the new Bama LSU with us stealing Lane? Yeah, it's going to be that kind of level. It will be that. I mean, they're going to have a hatred, especially if we win, right? Like if we start winning with Lane and start beating them, 1,000% it will be. 1,000% it will be. It's going to be that level again. Now you're Bama. Now you're the Bama in this equation, which historically speaking went well for Bama. I mean, there were some years you got them, but you got Nick in the beginning, but you know, after 2011, he dominated you for a fucking decade. But yeah, it's going to be like that. That's for sure. George with a $5 super chat says, any insight on who we should target for the O-line coach? Not really. Not really. My mind's not been really focused there. It's been consumed by everything else. So no, not really yet. If it is James Craig, I don't hate James Craig, but I think that would be really awkward. Really, really awkward. But I mean, the LSU staff that did that to James Craig's no longer here. So it might not be that awkward. Jones the Kid with a $2 super chat says, what's the over-under number on the number of chips won? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, let's just make it to the playoffs. I'm not going to do natties. I'm just going to say, let's make it to the playoffs first. Richie with a $5 super chat says, about to take some folks behind the train station. Appreciate all the content, bro. No problem. Yeah, you're about to whip some ass. I think the biggest lie, and Richie, the biggest lie in all of this is that Lane Kiffin's offense is like pass happy, whatever. Guys, no, they're not. They are downhill in your face. I hope Kawan Lacey comes with him too. I really do. That dude's a fucking stud. I hope he does. The most deception that people see is that, like, they don't realize how physical Ole Miss has been. Guys, do you realize that, bro? Hold on. Guys, they went into Georgia this year and ran for 4 touchdowns in the red zone. Let me repeat what I just said. They scored 35 straight points. 35 straight points on offense. They had 4 rushing touchdowns in the red zone. You didn't have 4 all season. And they went on the road to Georgia and did that. Lane looks at LSU and says, I can be more like Georgia. I can't do that at Ole Miss. Y'all know that, and I know that. Pukaki with a $5 super chat says, how long did you know Lane was coming? A week. I know you had a good feeling for a while. All aboard the Lane train. So I told the story last night. I'll repeat it a little bit here. I'm not going to tell the full thing because I'm waiting for somebody to join me on the podcast so we could tell the full story here. Last Wednesday is when I started feeling really good about it. When Ole Miss and Florida went after John Summerall, I basically thought it was over. But then a lot of shit happened in between that made me nervous. Last night I was really nervous until some things started happening. But I came out here last Wednesday and said, or this past Wednesday and said, or 2 Wednesdays ago, not this past Wednesday, but the Wednesday before, and said, guys, Florida's going after John Summerall. I mean, I was a bigger Florida insider than they were. Guys, and here's the thing. It wasn't because somebody told me. Like, nobody could have told me anything of what I saw and what I knew. So last Wednesday, I started feeling really good about it. I got nervous in points and times on some things I heard about negotiations behind the scenes. I know LSU got a little nervous yesterday. I heard that LSU was going to fly to Oxford last night to talk with Lane, and he told them, I say last night, they talked with Lane before the game was what I was told, before their game against Oklahoma, saying that as soon as their game concluded, they'll fly to Oxford and talk with him. And he told LSU, don't worry about it. I'm coming. Listen, I know this is stressful. I'm coming. Pause. So probably about right before the game, but a lot of I didn't know how Ole Miss would react, which made me really nervous. It made me really nervous. Mitch says the first time that the clipboard toss, yeah. I'm with you. It will hit like crack. All right, I got to start getting out of here. I got Rafino and Joe show in about 20 minutes. Redline with a $5 super chat says they begged him to stay, now posting really nasty stuff about him. I don't find their behavior normal, but more like spoiled brats. Yeah, none of that shit's confirmed. I mean, listen, you didn't care that he liked women and that he was who he was when he was your coach. It's kind of like us and BK. It's kind of like us and Ed, to be honest with you. But yes. Hawking says Ole Miss lost 2 4-star commits in the last 2 hours, and it's going to continue. You're going to flip some kids that are wanting to come here with Lane. Fred with a $10 super chat says congrats to Ole Miss for pissing Lane Kiffin off. Won't be taking any mercy knees with 5 minutes left. They made their bed. Yeah, I mean, he might be. He might because he still really loves Pete. But you're right. You're right. You won't be. You won't be at all. I like the villain arc of Lane Kiffin a lot because a locked-in Lane Kiffin's a dangerous Lane Kiffin. And that's what he's going to be. Nola Boy with a $10 super chat says Lane has earned this opportunity. Sketchy past and several stops and cleans up his image and character. If you have Saban going to bat for you, that says a lot. Now he has a chance to solidify his legacy. I agree with that. Saban was behind this from the beginning. There are going to be reports that come out there about a lot of things that Nick did. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Looks like Lane Kiffin has landed in Baton Rouge. LSU officials waited to greet him, and others were loading up cars, but they were out of sight. So Lane Kiffin is in Baton Rouge. You got to love it. He's here, man. He's here. We got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Soggy Tigers, who's been a member for a month, says this coaching staff is going to be elite. I think it has the potential to, yes. Your coaching staff is going to be really good, yes. And can you go in the portal? The biggest thing we hadn't talked about, too, is now you got Lane Kiffin here during the portal period. How many players want to come to LSU because of him being here during the portal? Do you go get a number? There's a lot of things you got to rebuild. We got to go get some offensive linemen. Like now. Now. Aaron with a $2 super chat says, love the show. Hate LSU. Congrats on the hire. Thank you, Aaron. Andrew with a $2 super chat says, have you heard that they are retaining any LSU staff? We talked about that earlier. Not officially, yes. I think there's a lot of considerations, not officially. I think the only one that knows Lane the best that's already on staff would be Sam Petito, your director of scouting. Chris Blanchard with a $5 super chat says, first action by Lane Kiffin should be to fire Cortez Hankton. Love the channel, man. Keep it up. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, Cortez ain't staying, nor should he. But I agree. Black with a $2 super chat says, any Ole Miss players coming like Trinidad? Well, Trinidad would have to get a waiver. So, you can't really rely on that completely. But I don't know. I don't know. Pocket Pickle with a $2 super chat says, is Whit Weeks coming back? That I don't know either. But his potential future pawn-in-law is his head coach. I think they should. That'd be funny. I think he could massively boost his draft stock if he comes back, personally. I think he should come back. I don't know what round grade he's going to get either, though. If he gets a top 3 round grade, he should leave. He should leave. But that would be an interesting dynamic. Very interesting dynamic. Rodney with a $5 super chat says, can you imagine the personality of Kim and Lane in the same building? No, I can't. Good Lord. And she was hurt because people didn't go to the Tulane game. Oh, Lane's going to Florida. No, he's not. He's coming to LSU. MD Engel became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Along with Tina Bieber, who became a member. Thank y'all both for joining the members only content. Brandon with a $10 super chat says, I'm extremely happy LSU fan right now. We went from the most talked about team for the wrong reasons for the most talked about reason in the right way. I agree. It's a big deal. Verge deserves a lot of credit. He deserves a lot of credit for what he did. Stassi with I forgot about this. Yeah, Carter Bryant's got to get a waxing. Yeah, I forgot about that. You had to remind me. I completely forgot about it. We'll line that up. He's got to video it. Oh man, that sucks for him. Maybe we'll show him some grace. Jamie with a $2 super chat says, when does he meet with the team? I'm assuming soon. Yeah, I'm assuming soon. I would assume very soon. But I don't know. But I would assume soon, maybe even today, if not tomorrow. I don't. That part I don't know. I'm going to call you Nice. Nice became a member on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Tina Bieber sent a $2 super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hunter with a $5 super chat says, I know he won't coach the bowl game, but will he be at practices before the bowl game working with the current offensive regime? Oh, I'm sure he will be. I'm sure he will be. Yeah, I mean, he needs to know what his team's about. I'm sure 1,000% he will be. I know one thing, the media is not going to like having their privileges taken away, but I don't give a shit as long as we win. Steve Bean with a $5 super chat says, Ole Miss in the playoff. How will Ole Miss play in the playoffs without any offensive coaches? I love it. I don't know. It's a good question that I have. That's up to them. I have no clue, but they don't have many. They're going to have to elevate some staff. I mean, it sucks for them, man, in a lot of ways, but they should have let him coach. Idiots. All right, Cole and Real Cass sent super chat saying the plane has landed. Big deal there, man. Massive deal there. C Murder with a $5 super chat says LSU goes to Neyland and Oxford next year. Going to be intense. Oh, next year is going to feed families, y'all. It's going to feed families because they don't like Lane at all, and it's going to be high intensity. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of high intensity. That's going to feed families. The toxicity, man, toxicity sells. Dane Bergeron with a $5 super chat says it's a great day. Kiffin coming to LSU and picked up the family member in Tennessee yesterday. Boykin named quote unquote Hunter's Rest Ragu. Excuse me. I think it was Jimmy they went to go get in Nashville. Brian Turner with a $5 super chat says Lane Kiffin Ole Miss has been the best 5 rushing offense since 2018, 228 yards per game, only non-service academy, average 220 games versus LSU, very physical offense. Biggest lie. It's been the biggest lie. They are in your face, punch you in the mouth. We're gonna be physical again. Bring back physicality. That's what I love. C Drop with a $5 super chat says, is Juice Kiffin merch about to do numbers? I'll buy some. I'll 1,000% will buy some. That is for damn sure. CA with a $10 super chat says, yep, plane just landed BTR pavement. Massive. Hold that tiger. Gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. Landon Weber with a $20 super chat says, your question should be to Lane. Lane, as you know, Louisiana is full of elite talent. On your staff, you have 2 of Louisiana's best recruiters who have deep ties. Will you retain them to keep the talent flowing to LSU? It's a good question. It's a very good question. I'm sure that will be asked by me or someone, but if I get a chance, I 1,000% Landon will ask that question. I'm sure it's going to be asked. I after my shows tonight, I'm going to come up with some questions to ask tomorrow if I get the opportunity to. Brandon Zahn, what's up, buddy? With a $10 super chat says, when does Coach O get announced on staff? That's a great question. I don't know. I really, really, really don't know. I think that one will be under consideration too. But I think it's massively been talked about. Do they ultimately let him do it? I think O would be a fascinating situation, man. It'd be very, very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. But we'll see how this goes, man. We'll see how this goes. All right, Adam, along with Eric and David, all became members on the YouTube channel. Thank you so much. We'll get some content out to you tomorrow as we continue to figure some things out around the staff. I'm sure we'll talk a lot about the staff moving forward, but we'll get that content out. Tiger Deal with a $5 super chat says, do you think NCAA, after the situation and Saban saying the changes need change coaching and signing period to more coincide with the season? Yeah, they got to change it. They don't have a choice. They got to, because this is ridiculous. Lane should not have to go through the situation he just went through. Neither should Ole Miss. Neither should LSU. It's very unfortunate. Very, very, very unfortunate here. But it's where we sit. But I think they should. I think they will. They don't have a choice. But they're so incompetent, who knows what they'll do. Guys, they spent the last 6 months fighting in the court about the legal stuff with Riley Gaines. You know what I mean? Like, what makes me think that I should have any faith in anything else? All right, a couple more super chats and we're getting out of here. Jordan with a $5 super chat says, in a few years, LSU going to try to fire Kiffin for cause. Not if he wins. Bear on YouTube says, take on SEC Mike. If he wants to come on here, I'll go on there. I'll definitely debate him. But I'm tired of the bullshit. I'm tired of the trolling. It's enough. You cover the SEC, not Arkansas and Tennessee. And because some people at other fan bases like you and people at LSU don't, doesn't mean that you got to shit on them. But if he wants to do it, I'm all here for it. I'm all about going after that shit. I'm fucking tired of it. I'm just being honest with you. I'm fucking tired of it. So, all right. Ruffino and Joe Show, 5:30. We'll see y'all there. Y'all have a good night. Peace.